And welcome back to this is part 2 of our look at the committee reports for the 2024 North Carolina Republican Party State Convention. Check the phone real quick. Okay, nothing important. Alright. And when I last left you, we were into the resolutions, and I'm currently on about 3/4 of the way down on page 3. This is a resolution on election reform. Nothing is more important than talking about elections and how they operate and that sort of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and read the whole thing. It says, whereas the standard in this country has historically been voting in person on election day, whereas absentee ballots, mail-in ballots, extended early voting, machine tabulation, and same-day registration and voting have diminished the public confidence in election results. Whereas our Constitution empowers we, the people, who are properly certified U.S. citizens with the God-given right of self-government to elect those who govern us, which is vital to our republic. Whereas the extended in-person early voting period has placed unnecessary strain on county boards of elections. Whereas it says county boards of elections, should be elections. That's minor grammar thing. Okay. Whereas elections with widespread absentee ballots have proven to be rife with vulnerabilities. That's a nice big word. And an easy way to manipulate election results, as reported in the 2005 report to the Commission on Federal Election Reform, chaired by former President Jimmy Carter and former Secretary of State James Baker III, absentee ballots remain the largest source of potential voter fraud. Therefore, be it resolved that the NC General Assembly should change existing election law to shorten the number of early voting days to be Monday through Saturday preceding the preceding election day. So, shorten the number of early voting days to be Monday through Saturday before election day, just that week before election day, with absentee voting requested by voter using current approved form, and allow all voters the right to obtain a copy of their cast ballot. And this was originally submitted by District 11 as well as my district, District 5. Next is a resolution talking about emergency powers, about the response to COVID-19. That's heard so much about that. Resolution on medical freedom, again talking about COVID-19. Resolution regarding rights of January 6th North Carolinians. That one's been beaten to death. In support of Israel and return of all the hostages. You've heard about that every day on the news. Resolution on individual liberty, again that talks about COVID and so forth, and then a resolution in support of enacting legislation to require North Carolina sheriffs to cooperate with ICE. Okay. And let's see. Resolution to have the United States defund and depart the United Nations. That one's been, I think, presented before at a convention. Oh, but I skipped one. One that last on page, I am on page 10. It'd be nice if these resolutions had numbers, but we got page numbers at least. I'm on page 10 of the resolutions packet. This one is very special to me. Very special. Very important. The best resolution since just last year when someone from the floor changed some of the language in that phony party accountability thing, platform accountability thing, and was able to get Tom Till censured. This is just as good, if not better. And it's so good I have to take a drink of root beer before I read it. Okay, so this is a resolution regarding it's called a resolution regarding NCGOP order of business. This essentially is a nice how should I put this? It's a nice little resolution that talks about what a piece of crap last year's state convention was. It was just the worst convention I've ever been to, the worst run, etc., etc. And this is sort of like last year's terrible. Please, this is sort of like a motion, sort of a plead, a beg to not let this happen again. And the author of this resolution is District 11, which is chaired by the great Michelle Woodhouse, who does great work way out in the mountains, way out the west part of the state. And she was smart enough to get this resolution in early, because her district convention is actually not until this Saturday, the 27th. Yeah, so very, very good work. The fact that it actually passed the resolutions committee, and for it to be included in the packet is really good, because there's been concerns. This even before Philip Stevens was on the chair in the resolution committee. This was going back before Dr. Stevens. I've told you this story a couple times before, but it bears repeating. I was at the District 3 convention 10 years ago, and Matty Lawson was the chair of the district resolutions committee in District 3. District 3, the far eastern coastal North Carolina area. This convention was in Havelock, I believe, which is just a little, about 15 minutes south of New Bern, just to give you a geographic reference. So anyway, the District 3 resolutions chair, Matty Lawson, a great patriot, person who I really look up to now. She's getting up there in age. I haven't seen her in maybe 3 to 5 years or so. So she's probably starting to get to that age where you're very homebound. But I wish her well. Matty Lawson 10 years ago said that the resolutions committee is known as the black hole. Says so. District 3 apparently they've sent so many resolutions to the state resolutions committee over the years, and they hardly ever hear back, or they hardly ever get their resolutions heard at the state convention. And also Carl Miska, who was a 2-term District 3 chair, does wonderful work. He also had a lot of valid criticism of the resolutions committee. It's gotten a little bit better with Philip Stevens, but there's still been some times when I think Watley poked his head in a little too far in the committee proceedings. But anyway, this is a resolution regarding the NCGOP order of business. Here we go. Whereas the North Carolina Republican Party Plan of Organization, Article 7D1, requires a state convention to be called every year during May or in the first 2 weeks of June, and for all delegates and alternates elected at county conventions to be seated as delegates and alternates to the state convention And whereas the fundamental purpose of the state convention is for the convention body to conduct and complete the business of the state party. And whereas the North Carolina GOP Plan of Organization, again, Article 7D3A, provides for appointment of 5 standing committees for each state convention, following every odd numbered year state convention. And whereas each standing committee report is placed on the agenda as business of the state convention. And whereas the North Carolina GOP Plan of Organization specifies that in every odd number year at the NCGOP convention, elections are to be held for the officers chair and vice chair. Whereas the NCGOP Plan of Organization specifies that in every presidential election year at the NCGOP convention, delegates and alternates shall be elected to the national convention. A national committee man, national committee woman, presidential electors at large, and alternate electors at large shall be nominated. And whereas during the state convention, numerous political candidates, breakout sessions, and fundraising events are scheduled prior to the presentation of standing committee reports, as well as national delegate selection and the RNC committee man and presidential elector nominations. And whereas during the 2023 state convention, due to the excessive number of speakers and breakout sessions, the election of vice chair was not conducted, and all standing committee reports were not presented during the business sessions as scheduled on the convention agenda. And whereas delegates to the 2023 NCGOP convention witnessed firsthand the failure of electronic voting deployed by the NCGOP for the election of the NC party chair, and the resulting chaos on the floor that lengthened the voting process and led to a loss of quorum, thus affecting all remaining business to drop to the floor. And whereas the 2023 state convention covered a span of 4 days, including 2 full days, but only allowed a maximum of 8.5 hours for state convention business to be conducted per the convention agenda. And whereas previous state conventions held prior to 2022 allowed more time for state convention business to be conducted per the convention agenda, therefore be it resolved that the North Carolina Republican Party State Convention Organizing Committee's highest priority is the completion of all state party business, and therefore be it further resolved that non-business activities, including political candidate speeches, breakout sessions, fundraising efforts, etc., be reduced on Friday afternoon and Saturday if the party's official business falls behind schedule, in order to allow additional time for official business to be completed. Let's see. I agree with this 95%. The only thing that I would say is inaccurate about this resolution, it said that previous state conventions held prior to 2022 allowed more time for state convention business to be conducted. Actually, if you go back to especially 2011 to 2014, the breakout sessions were actually Saturday morning, not Friday morning. Friday morning you just had the central committee meeting. You pretty much had nothing else on Friday morning. The conventions used to start like at 1 or 2 o'clock. Credentials were always a mess. If we're lucky, we got maybe convention was scheduled to begin at like 1 or 1:30 on Friday. But then you always had like an hour delay for credentials. Either somebody would want to hold up the credential because there was a traffic accident on the interstate, or credentials were just There was no easy way to do them. With the technology 10 years ago was not as advanced as it is today, obviously. So Friday, and then about 5 o'clock or so, 5 or 6, some nincompoop would do a quorum call or adjourn. So Fridays, we were always lucky to make it 1 hour. Saturday morning, you had no business session. You had your breakout sessions, pretty much. So really, the only time prior to about 2018, 2014 or so, was Saturday afternoon. So that point, I think, you might want to scratch that sentence about state conventions held prior to 2022 allowed more time for state convention business. That time was actually, they've created more time under the Whatley administration, but Whatley's put his minions in the convention body, to the NASCAR caucus, to do a motion to adjourn and always move agendas around, so that what usually happens on Saturday afternoon is that somebody will make a motion to move the elections of officers to before the other business items like platform, the plan of organization, etc., etc. So, okay, those were the resolutions. Now, platform, I believe. Yeah. Okay. The platform last year did not get heard at all at the convention. There were some changes from the 2023 that the 2023 committee made. I've already discussed those changes back in my 2023 committee report video. So I'm not going to repeat those in the 2024 video, but there were numerous changes that the committee did in 2024 that are new that I will discuss. So let's go to platform. Let's see. And we have on the lovely platform committee, of course, chaired for, I believe, her 5th consecutive year by Julie Scott Emmons of Alamance County. Representing 1st District is John Sproul. Tom Weatherby is District 2. Steve Radner, the great Steve Radner, I love you, man. 3rd District. Diane Maurer of 4th District. Greg Engel of 5th District. Connie Baker Porter. Hey, I know that lady. How you doing, Connie? 6th District. Breeden Schuyler Core of District 7. Kelsey Brown, District 8. Julie Scott Emmons, District 9. Risha Perry Greeno Brima of 10th District. Herschel Johnson of 11th District. Ashley Bookout of 12th District. Laura Pichardo of 13th District. And Mark Schulk of 14th District. And our at-large members are Kevin Alston and John Anglin. And whoa, let's go back to District 12. Who was the name of the lady? Ashley Bookout. Okay, sorry. She's very pretty, by the way. Ashley, she's seeing anybody? Yeah, y'all let me know. Get us hooked up on a date or something. Yeah. Give me her contact information. Okay, back to convention business, everybody. Enough about my love life. Okay. We're in Article 2, Individual Liberty. New paragraph, line 7 says, "We are made in the image of God, endowed with the capacity to learn and exercise individual liberty. It is crucial to safeguard humanity by implementing legal protections and severe penalties for those who misuse technology to alter the essence of what it means to be human. Okay, and then Article 3, it deals with justice. There's a lot of changes here. Okay, here we go. Now, line 3. We oppose the weaponization of the justice system against political opponents. All vestiges of this scourge should be removed to restore the principles of true justice and due process for all. Paragraph 4, there's a lot of editing with this one. We support the death penalty for first-degree murder. Deaths from fentanyl and other highly poisonous synthetic opioids must be investigated and prosecuted as criminal homicide cases. We call for mandatory sentencing for all violent crimes, especially crimes committed against those charged with protecting us. We call for the examination of mandatory sentencing for non-violent crimes to ensure fairness and justice. Paragraph 6. We believe the state must protect the rights of victims and their families. New text says, including collaborative efforts that provide for restorative justice, I believe is what it says. Criminal justice reforms that rehabilitate former offenders to become contributing members of society are applauded, including reentry support such as transitional housing and employment for recently released inmates. Paragraph 7, let's see here. We deplore child abuse materials, child sex abuse materials. Governments must protect innocent persons from all forms of modern slavery, abuse, and sexual exploitation. Article 4, Sanctity of Life, new text, line 3. We support legislation that identifies and closes enforcement loopholes in existing statutes to better protect children in the womb. Line 5, new text. School-based health clinics, public and private, should not provide referrals, counseling, and related services for abortion and contraception. Line 8, we oppose all forms of euthanasia and assisted suicide, which often target persons with disabilities, the elderly, and infirm. We support legislation prohibiting assisted suicide. Let's see. Article 6. Last year was proposed a whole new section on health care. This year, the platform committee added the sentence number 2, and that reads, businesses should respect the dignity and rights of conscience of their workers to make their own healthcare decisions. Very good. Let's see. Article 7, education. We believe in line 8. We believe in religious freedom, which is inherent to the dignity of the individual. Now going to Article 11, federal policy, new paragraph, line 8. We believe in a robust defense and foreign policy that promotes democracy, freedom of religion, and free market economic systems around the world. We believe in mutual cooperation with our nation's allies through NATO and other military and economic alliances that serve as deterrents to America's and our allies' enemies, including Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and any other power that threatens our nation and our allies. Line 9. We oppose granting of permanent resident status for those who, by breaking the immigration laws, undermine the integrity of those who have adhered to them. Providing amnesty solely serves to incentivize further breaches of the law. Employers should exclusively hire individuals authorized to work legally in the United States. Line 10. We support advocacy for policies that uphold Israel as a sovereign nation, affirming its right to self-defense and recognizing its borders without conditions. Furthermore, we acknowledge Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. And the conclusion says, Thomas Jefferson said that the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. We, the North Carolina Republican Party, are committed to remaining vigilant as we stand guard to protect the freedoms we hold dear. Ronald Reagan stated that a strong Republican Party is like a stool that stands on 3 legs. Strong defense, free enterprise, and strong moral values. Together we will turn back the tide of socialism and preserve our nation as a beacon of liberty, hope, and opportunity for all. This document is respectfully submitted by the 2024 NCGOP Platform Committee. And last, but probably the most fun, is the POO, the Plan of Organization Committee report. This also, there was no report heard at last year's convention because of all the chaos and the time consuming of the voting. Here we go. Okay. First, I have to thank the members for their time and dedication to the Plan of Organization Committee. We have the chairman of that committee, the lovely Daniel Berry of District 8, Union County. Vice Chair is Mike Phillips, District 2, Wake County. Secretary Ed Stiles, District 1, Wilson County. Drafting Secretary William Schultes of District 9, Moore County. Bob Pruitt, District 3, Carteret County. Bob Castanova, District 4 of Orange County. Benjamin Parnell, District 5 of Rockingham County, also known as Bernie. Bernie Parnell. This guy is funny. He's a funny, great dude, righteous dude. Robert Watkins, old friend, District 6, Forsyth County. Fred Thomas Trey, District 7 of Brunswick County. The great friend Michael Owens of District 10, Forsyth County. Hunter Clark, District 11, McDowell County. Tommy Fuller, District 12, Mecklenburg County. Another great patriot, Michael Magnanti, District 13, Granville County. Rick Alston, District 14, Rutherford County. And our at-large members are Gerald Kivett, Sampson County. Harvey West, Harvey West, at-large, Washington County. And Marshall Conrad, at-large, of Johnston County. And we have a nice little note here about activities of the committee. It says, during this cycle, the committee considered numerous proposed amendments to the state plan of organization. The bulk of our recommendations are holdovers from the 2023 convention, where no action was taken. The committee elected to set aside several proposals for consideration at the 2025 convention. In addition to those from the 2023 committee report, several additional topics were submitted by the members of the committee. and others were submitted by party members. The committee also wishes to convey to the convention that a rewrite, yes, a rewrite of the plan of organization will begin in earnest at the close of the 2024 convention. Very, very important. Our objective will be to simplify the plan of organization to create an efficient and effective state-wide organization while providing counties and districts the liberty to build out organizations based on local needs and conditions, and to address language for consistency and style. This will be a Herculean task. The chair, with the consent of the committee, appointed Bill Schultes of Moore County to serve as chief drafter for all amendments and the 2025 plan of organization rewrite. The committee would like to provide special recognition and thanks to Bill for his tireless efforts thus far. As chief drafter, Bill will ensure we maintain consistent language and proper grammar in the new plan of organization. Each committee member has been tasked to have regular communication with the various executive committees in their district and receive feedback on work, products, and drafts. The committee chair will be providing the same information to the central committee and party officers. With transparency and openness in mind, the NCGOP will be maintaining a web page at nc.gop.com, which will include meeting minutes, working documents, and drafts at various intervals throughout the process. This page will be available for all to access. Our goal is to have a final draft version available for review in the fall. Committee members will be presenting the updated plan of organization at the December State Executive Committee meeting, the first quarter county and district executive committee meetings, as well as the 2025 county and district conventions. Communication to the committee may be directed to plan@ncgop.org. In addition to the work on proposed amendments, the plan of organization has issued several opinions pursuant to Article 7D3D2A. Those opinions are included at the end of this report. The chair thanks the Plan of Organization Committee for its hard work and conduct during our deliberations. The committee recommends to the delegates of the state convention that these 7 amendments be adopted. Before each proposal is a brief rationale for the need to adopt the suggested amendment. Okay. First, let me mention what happened last year. Because if I don't talk about it, nobody else is going to, and it's going to become, as Mike Pence once said, on the ash heap of history. It'll just be lost. So last year, what came out of the Plan of Organization Committee were some of the proposals for last year. I'll briefly mention them. I talk about them at length a little bit more in the 2023 committee report video, if you want to watch that. Okay, so there were 11 proposed changes last year that were not heard. Number 1 was talking about party officers as candidates. That adds a little bit more language and clarity to party officers, central committee, executive committee, those kind of people cannot endorse in primary elections. And also you can't work for Democrats, but that should be obvious. And then talking about the county plan of organization lining up with the state plan of organization gives a little bit more direction with that. Also talking about the standing convention committees. That's who from your district is going to be on credentials, rules, plan of organization, platform. Those were proposed for 2-year terms, and you would get appointed or elected the same year that you would have your officer elections. Also, then the RNC committee man, committee woman for the state of North Carolina would help select delegates to the RNC convention. That one I was strongly opposed to. Of course, never saw the light of day. That one I'm glad was never got heard. And then we have the automatic resignation if you campaign for a Democrat. Let's see. And then something about a 3-person arbitration committee added on to the executive and central committees. Okay, so proposal 1 was also proposed last year, but it's brought up again. Made the cut this year as well. Just to mention, if you say chairman, or it's mentioned in the plan of organization as chairman, chairwoman, just change that to basically chair. That's all that is. A little grammar, what have you. Proposal 2. Let's see. That one is pretty self-explanatory. I'm trying to think what even that means, to tell you the truth. Talking about what defines a member. Are they, what, okay. Proposal 3. This was also brought about last year too, but says clarification of rules relating to the election of delegates who are not in attendance at their annual precinct meeting or county convention. Proposal number 4. This was also in last year's notes. Adoption of a 2-year budget, updated annually. Reasons for change. In order to streamline the state party budgeting process, the committee proposes that a 2-year budget be adopted and updated annually at a meeting of the state executive committee, held immediately after the state convention, beginning next year in 2025. This proposal changes the budget year to one that ends each June 30th. The committee notes that budget meetings scheduled for the end of December rarely produce a quorum. Gee, I wonder why that is. And believes that enough members of the state executive committee will attend a meeting held in conjunction with the state convention in order to establish a quorum to adopt a budget. Says the new language. The budget shall be presented to the state executive committee at a meeting to be held not later than the day immediately following the adjournment of and at the same location as the North Carolina Republican Party State Convention. If let's see, state executive committee meets, approves with modifications or disapproves the budget prepared by the state central committee. If no budget is approved, then the last budget approved by the state executive committee without any later modifications made by the state central committee shall be in place for the next 24 months, beginning on July 1st of that year. At the same meeting, it talks about odd number of years. You elect a secretary, assistant secretary, treasurer, assistant treasurer, general counsel, and assistant general counsel. approve an auditing committee. Okay. Again, that's effective for beginning July 1st of 2025. And, okay. Proposal 5, call of county conventions. Reason for change. The committee notes that in a few instances, county party officers have failed to call a county convention. These amendments make it clear that county party officers are required to issue the call to convention before March 1st of each year. If they fail to do so, a congressional district chair is directed to do so. Okay. So prior to March 1st of every year, county convention shall be called by the county chair to be held at a suitable location within the county. During the month of March, at least 10 days prior to the scheduled district convention or conventions in which the county is entitled to participate. This says the chair of the congressional district having the greatest number of registered Republicans within the county on January 31st of that year shall call the county convention if it has not been called by March 1st. And proposal number 6, commencement of terms of office. Reason for change: a few county parties delay the commencement of an officer or committee member's term of office after his election. The committee believes that a lame duck tenure as well as these delays are unnecessary and that those elected at a county convention shall have the authority to act immediately upon the adjournment of the convention. So that just simplifies some things with, well, I just got elected county chair in my convention, but I'm not starting until 2 weeks from Tuesday. No. And looks like one more here. Proposal 7, expansion of the definition of written notice. Reasons for change, pretty obvious. It is universally agreed that the giving of notice by snail mail, U.S. mail, is onerous and unnecessary in modern times, you think. Accordingly, the committee recommends that notice can be given by electronic mail, otherwise known as email. Electronic mail. That was like a 1994... 1995, 30 years ago. What? A secondary change is made to make it clear that convention committee reports posted on the party website do not constitute written notice within the meaning of the amended provision. Okay, yeah. There were some opinions from some counties. Okay. Yeah. Those you can read for yourself. They're at the end of the plan boardization. Moore County, another one. Who's supposed to be on the plan boardization? Who's supposed to be on the executive committee for counties? That sort of thing. Henderson County. Again, another one talking about making sure precinct chairs are members of the county executive committee, because unfortunately there are some counties out there that like to have smaller executive committees. All right, that's it. Let's see. The convention begins, let's see, Thursday, May 23rd. What time does registration start? 4 o'clock. Registration from 4 to 8 on Thursday. Pick up your goodie bag, and of course I'll do my annual pregame show, what have you. Yeah, or you can come on Friday, 8 to 3 is the registration pickup, or even on Saturday if you just want to come for the day, 8 to 2 is the registration pickup. But I highly recommend coming on Thursday evening, or get here Friday, 8 a.m., breakout sessions at 9, and all that good stuff. And registration, I believe the basic cost is $75. Or with the fee, it's like, or with the credit card fee, it's like $80. Yeah. And the deadline for that is, I believe, Monday at 5 o'clock. That would be Monday, the May 20th at 5 p.m. is the cutoff, I believe, for registration for the convention. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.